People hate these fake fans, these anime tourists. If you don't know what this means, basically, someone who fairly recently got into anime, maybe over lockdown, but specifically comes to the anime community and starts complaining about everything being problematic and whining about blah, blah, blah. This is offensive and this needs to be changed. And, all this super really lame stuff. Basically, imagine a combination of a Twitter cop and a new anime fan. That's essentially what creates a tourist. So yeah, tourist does not simply mean that you're new to watching anime. It's that combination of stuff essentially that we went over. And so over the last 24 hours or so, the tourists have been getting absolutely destroyed by the real fans over on Twitter. With all that context, let's take a look. So it essentially all started with people getting offended at the word waifu, which is obviously a really stupid thing to get offended by. Rock Solid making a tweet in response to one of the offended people saying COVID has been a disaster on otaku culture, which goes back to what I said earlier about the proliferation of these tourists occurring around the lockdown period, which also reminds me of back then when Tectone would make all these tweets about like Genshin waifus, and there would just be there'd be like infinite seething in the responses, people getting so mad at him for using that term. Anyways, Rock Solid then got this response that talks about wanting to eliminate the word otaku as a concept, saying that it's holding anime back. And the responses are filled with people saying that, no, actually tourists should be eliminated from the anime community. It's the tourists that are really holding things back. So I guess we know that tourists are not only offended at the word waifu, but also otaku. Septonic then making this tweet with over 10,000 likes that reads, they got really mad at me for this one, reposting this image that says, how to spot an anime tourist. Only watches Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball, and other common anime shows. Only likes anime because it's trendy. Will join the anime fandom for the sake of policing others in the community. Berates you for liking something they don't like. Thinks fan service is sexist and drawings equate to real life issues. Hey, you know what? It sounds like they would get along great with those weirdo Twitter feminists that we were talking about yesterday. The ones who were all offended over that Japanese anime style ad. And then there was this tweet with over 48,000 likes talking about all of this recent tourist stuff that says, anime fans are seen as weirdos, make our own subculture for ourselves. Normies during pandemic realize anime is actually amazing, joins our culture, tries to kick us out of our own spaces we built when they kicked us out of the normie space to begin with. Where do we go? I would humbly make a correction to the last point there, because anime fans were never trying to like take anime into the normie space to begin with. It's basically like anime fans made their own space and then the normies tried to invade it, which to be fair, the rest of the tweet does talk about. As for the question, where do we go? Nowhere. The actual fans are still winning because they get to enjoy the medium more thoroughly. All these fake people are getting offended by everything and crying left and right. The tourist essentially has a losing proposition to begin with because all they do is look for the next thing to get offended by and then make some sort of tweet desperately trying to get clout. And obviously that doesn't really amount to much of anything at all. They've pretty much already lost, in other words. We can see another example of this in the Western localizer stuff that's been going on, with more and more of these weirdos getting replaced by Japanese companies who prefer using machine translations over the localizers. So yeah, this was just a quick discussion on all this tourist stuff. I definitely think the anime community was better before it got so mainstream, and the mainstream stuff has brought a lot of terrible things for the community, such as all these tourist posers, and even like corrupt Western companies trying to leech money off the industry. But despite that, I also think that the real fans are still winning. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed my coverage, please consider liking and or subscribing. Appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.